Alright, good morning Illuvium community. How are we doing here today? Back at it, it's a Monday. It looks like my city is trying to cosplay as Tiger Boreal. It is snowing like absolute craziness out there. Hopefully everything power-wise will be a-okay, but we'll still do our best to put on a heck of a show here today. In terms of news, not a whole heck of a lot been announced or really been talked about over the last little bit. It's all just been discussions in the Discord as I guess kind of the questions that people would want answered for the town hall coming up on Thursday. And otherwise, it's just been kind of smooth sailing from there. Of course, if you're just joining for the first time, my name's Silent. I've been a commentator or a producer for the longest time here. It's been over a decade. When did StarCraft 2 come out? Like what, 2010? Since then, pretty much I've been doing commentary. And yes, Fox Oracle, you caught me live here today. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And of course, I did also do, in my adventures through esports, I am now, of course, been here with Illuvium, with the Illuvium Pro League. I'm not internal, like I'm not a staff member of Illuvium by any means. I'm very, very thankful to have been able to cast for them. But I am still independent, so to speak, not sponsored or anything. I'm just here because I'm having a damn well good time. In terms of my personal growth, though, I'll talk about it a little bit when we hop into the Overworlds, but I kind of spoiled myself up a little bit. I'll explain why. I do something that I've notoriously have never done. Waking up with Silent right on, that works out. Way to go. How we looking today, Drake? How we doing? How we doing? I'm personally doing pretty good, just trying to stay warm here in the extensive amount of snow. My apartment does not have working heaters, so we make do the best we can. But that's a me issue. One thing brand new that I think I have working this time, TikTok, welcome back. I'm going to be joining you as long as this works out properly. Because the last time that I did try to do streaming on TikTok, it stopped after 5 minutes and crashed, and then I went back to Twitch. So I do have all platforms open, regardless of which chat you happen to be a part of. But I'm happy to see all of y'all nonetheless. Hopefully everything works as intended, because especially for our first hour, I've got a fun little activity planned here. And to explain, I guess, what we're going to go into. First things first, we are going to be doing a speed run of Holos. So basically, I am going to go into a tier 0 run, strictly looking for shinies, strictly looking for Holos. Hop in, if there's none, hop back out, start a new run. See the Holos? Go in, catch them as quick as possible, and just rinse and repeat until an hour is done. I'm going to have a counter in the bottom left-hand corner here with the amount caught, and I want to see, after an hour, how many can I catch? After that, of course, we will be hopping into the arena for a couple of ranked matches. I've had a little bit of a good spree over the last day. Had a 3-game streak of at least a 3rd place or higher, so I'm pretty happy about that. And then as always, we'll wrap things up here with our Illuvium 0 cooldown. It should be a little bit quicker because I only have the 1 scanner per plot going because they're tier 5s. Because, of course, one of the things that did happen over the weekend, I found the Seer. I found the very final alluvial that I was looking for and was very, very happy to see that. All tier 4s now collected. I just need a couple more tier 5s, if I do recall correctly. What do I need? I need a handful of them still. So like Adorito, Adorius, Duolef, Titanor, Phosphorus, Rampfire, and then Octius and Aphisto. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 8 more biodata, and then I will successfully have at least 1 plot with each alluvial's biodata and have the entire collection until inevitably set 1B or set 2 comes to the Illuvium 0. So, heck yeah. There we go. Fox, I'll be going in and getting my whole collection completed with the exception of a couple tier 5s. Fair enough. Purchase on the marketplace. Oddly enough, I like where your head's at. Because that's exactly what I did too. And I was very, very against it for the longest time. And I actually caved a little bit and got it done. I went and finished off my collection. Let's hop on in here in just a moment. Don't worry. I'm scuffing it up a little bit, but here we go. So this is going to be the kind of setup we're going to have here for today. Bottom left-hand corner, I'll have the timer going. I'm going to reset that timer here in just a second. Kind of got it warmed up just to make sure it was working properly. But we'll then get hopping into some tier 0 runs for that Overworld Shiny or the Holo speedrun. 0 guide, almost done. I am right there. The plot that I was waiting for, I'll talk about it a little bit more in the 0 cooldown, but I finally got what I was looking for. I could finally finish the guide. So, soon enough, Drake. Well, we're right around the corner. Okay, so I'm going to get ready for the speed run. My most played area is Abyssal Basin, so this is going to be the area that I'm going to go play at. And then I will start the timer without... I'm not going to look at any alluvials yet. I'm going to do my best, of course, to keep chatting. I might be, like, semi-tryharding, but I'll still gladly talk with chat as best as possible. Even if it does slow me down, I'm not trying to set no world records or anything too crazy. I'm just trying to go fast, not trying to go perfect, if that makes sense.
This place really tests my limits.
Okay, let's set this to 11:10. So that timer right there will be until we truly start. I will not hit the map until we get to that timer being down. And kind of get that worked out so far. Double check in on everything real quick one more time. Looks like everything is working properly today. This is awesome to see. I'm very, very excited to try something new, and it's actually seeming to work out here. I feel bad for Twitch watchers in particular, but I only had room for 3. And I have YouTube, I have X, and I have TikTok now going live. So thank you everybody for joining me. I see everybody kind of hopping in and out. This is a different way of doing streaming. I've not been used to this, but it's pretty cool. I do like it. What is the concept of practicing to do it fast? What will that do later? Absolutely nothing, but collect me more shinies very, very quickly. I'm just trying to do something for fun here. Try something a little bit different. Let's just see. How many shinies can I catch in an hour? And do it as quick as possible. And maybe this could be a stream that I come back to at another time and maybe try to beat my personal best kind of thing. Let's go. Best time to buy the Battle Pass, or should I wait for Season 2? I feel bad because that double XP weekend for the Battle Pass did just pass us. I know there was a couple of technical flubs that made it a little bit difficult as well, but I think you still have about a month. If you plan on genuinely grinding Arena, then I'd say go for it. But at the same time, just make sure that it's worth it to you. And off we go. Let's take a look and see our very first run. Timer online. Let's look and see if we can find any of our Holos here today. The one thing I'm not sure that how I'm going to handle, if I happen to find a fully evolved alluvial, part of me wants to count it because I'm going to want to catch it. But at the same time, I guess it's not really a shiny now, is it? So, right off the rip, can we find one? So far, there we go, we got one actually right behind me. Good positioning. We'll scoop that one up. There's a second one here. And we'll hop on over. Let's get there right away. So that was 2 Dokas, I think, in this very first encounter. There's the first one. Let's see if we can scoop this one up nice and quickly. The one thing I did not do is actually optimize my team for this at all. So I still have some very big, heavy-hitting alluvials that are going to cost me a lot of energy to put out onto the board. So I'm not sure how that's going to affect me getting my chances in terms of getting a second chance or so. Did you know you can select them so they get a beacon? Yes, I do know how I can make it show up at the very, very top, just by right-clicking them. But if you're referring to something different, then I'm not quite sure. Of course, these take 25. I think Gyro... Actually, can I just get Kukulus to do it? And then give myself a shield and suit. Is this going to be it, Kukulus? Are we going to have some fun today? Actually, I can't even do the jumpsuit, it looks like, to get 2 swings at him. Yes, that part I did realize. I'm thankful that you can just kind of right-click the little paw print, and it'll show up. Personally, I also like right-clicking near the... Oops, I just used a tier 1 shard on that. It is what it is. We're gonna for sure secure this thing then. So optimally, I would love to be using the free-to-play ones. But we at least got one on the board, and due to my little bit of being too quick, let's get our caught counter changed to 1. Lots of attack speed on this guy too. I'm actually not too disappointed. Very happy with that one. So far, so good. Vidoka joining the squad. We got another one in this area. And of course, I know it probably made it seem stupid easy here off the start, but Holos are not a guarantee in every run. And it is not, it's not super common to have, I guess, more than one in a run. So seeing the 2 like this is quite the blessing. But I've definitely seen some pretty crazy runs where I've had like maybe 3 or 4. It's definitely nowhere near as rare as, say, like a Pokemon shiny. It's the Dark Holos that are the harder to find version that feel like a traditional shiny in terms of rarity. So it may seem simple for now, it's not always going to be this way. And then finding, of course, those Dark Holos is a whole nother story. Do I have captured drone augments? I do not. I don't have the ore necessary to actually craft the pieces. Not enough at all, unfortunately, to truly capitalize on it. I can probably just drop you in here. These 2 should be able to tag team the rest of the field. Because yeah, when you pointed that out in the one clip there with the forest, I eventually, that next stream, I went over and took a look. Not only did I not have full drone augments, the only drone augment I had was one that had a 4% chance to duplicate ore or something like that. So something that I would have made when I was like brand new to the game. So yeah, that did not work out at all. But it's something I'm slowly but surely trying to work on. While I'm also trying to slowly but surely work on this shiny. Can we secure this one? I made sure to use the proper free-to-play shards this time. So far, no good. Quick stat check to double check if it was worth maybe firing off that tier 1 shard. Not going to do it. Going to keep throwing the free-to-play ones. This is something that you could absolutely pick up the game right here, right now, and do, because all of these shards are completely free. You just got to gather them up in the actual overworld themselves. These alluvials, you don't have to actually burn any fuel to go capture. Excuse me. So, anyone who's maybe looking to try and get into Overworld right off the start, this is actually something you can do right off the rip. And on the third one, the last possible chance, we are going to be able to capture it. That is another shiny Doka, Holo Doka, with, to be fair, pretty decent stats. May not be a whale, but the one thing I have is all, honestly, that's fantastic. I know for the longest time, it was a goal that I was trying to do too, but then they actually got rid of it. But there used to be milestones. It was another, like, reward system where you can get points, and I think that's where the airdrop first became a thing. Like, you would go through these milestones. There'd be some for Arena, some for Zero, and some for the Overworld. And I believe the Armors was the big one with getting a lot of points very, very quickly in the overworld if you didn't necessarily have the capability of doing stage 3 runs. So yeah, having the stage 3 capture augments, that's the dream right there. That's beautiful.
It's good to be back.
Okay, so with those 2 being caught, let's adjust our counter. We've got the 2. Let's hop right back in and do it again. We were pretty lucky to find 2 on the first run. See if we can keep the hype kind of going here. That's how you got most of your ILV in the reward seasons? Yeah. Yeah, I hope something similar to that comes back, because I did definitely love having something to chase for in terms of the goals. Does it necessarily have to be timed with ILV? Maybe, maybe not, but I did like that idea of working towards a goal of some sort. Like, we have the battle pass, for example, of the or for the arena. Who said there wouldn't be, or there couldn't be, a battle pass of sorts for the MMO / the overworld, with something along those lines? I'm not exactly sure how you would implement that, but it is at least an interesting idea in my head. Okay, this one we're not going to get any Holos whatsoever. In these instances, it's a little bit unfortunate because there is a bit of a cooldown in between runs. I think it's like you could start runs every 2 minutes or so. So I bet you when I hop back into the obelisk, they'll say you have to pause for a second. So that's going to be our biggest time killer.
Oh, my hair. It's a mess.
30 seconds, okay. That works out. Not too bad. A chance for me to get some coffee in me real quick without stopping my progression. Four, 5 tier 2 lands, 1 tier 3. And almost... Damn, Fox. No, that's quite a bit. I would definitely consider you a power user. Absolutely. Okay, try us again. So we had 1 run with 2 in there, which was pretty exciting, but then we did have the 1 dud run so far. Let's try this again.
Ew! I stepped in something. Oh, no. It's just mud.
Okay. From the top. I am very thankful that I can at least just kind of scan through all of the alluvials like this, and I don't have to run around the entire overworld only to realize that there was no Holos. It does kind of, unfortunately, take away some of the mystique. Ooh, the middle stage evolution is a Holo. Let's go. It does take away some of the mystique of just randomly finding it out in the wild. But in terms of what I'm doing here, where I'm just trying to go as fast as possible, I'll gladly take it here. And okay, so we just have the 1. It's a greater Doka this time. So this is the middle stage evolution. Much harder to find compared to all the baby ones that we've been seeing in the last little bit. As I jump into a tree, give my ranger a concussion. But just like the NFL, we keep on going. And there it is. Hello there. Doka, don't mind me if I poke you a little bit. Now the chances, of course, catching this one's going to be a little bit tougher when using that free-to-play... excuse me. When using that free-to-play shard. But it's still not terrible odds. We'll see once we get there, so we'll get ourselves our suit and shield, and let's also just get Rip Lance in here. No, that's actually too much. I'd only be the one chance. So I need to be using something a little cheaper than Rip Lance, if it allows me to. Gosh, okay. Let's see. This would allow me to have the 2 shots. Potentially, this could work. Me, him, and Han is definitely wasting some time, though, so let's try and get moving. Get in there, Gyro. There we go. That little burst is definitely going to help out big time. There we go. Whatever the term is right below whale. I think the term is dolphin? They're still majestic as hell, but just not huge like a whale. But making the goal of... Yeah, that'd be absolutely awesome. Making a shiny dex is going to be incredible, just like this incredible Doka. My goodness, max health and max attack speed, or max attack, I should not be doing this. We have a 55% chance to catch this. Considering finding a holo middle stage evolution is much harder compared to the tier 1s, just little babies. If this doesn't work, I think I might genuinely throw my tier 1 shard at it. But it's not going to matter. We're going to get it right off the rip. Our 3rd holo, our 3rd shiny of the day. Greater Water Doka with actually some pretty decent health and damage. Let's go, Doka. Let's change that. Number 3 caught on the day. That one's definitely my favorite so far. In fact, I might not have had one. If I take a look at my sheet real fast while we're loading, did I have a Greater Water Doka as a holo? I did actually have one before, so it's not brand new, but I would have only had one other one, and I guarantee you that my stats on that one was much, much worse. So success, we have 3. So plenty of time here in the run as well. We're only just now getting to our first quarter done. Yeah, that getting all the shinies, and then again, personally, over the weekend, I was very, very thankful. Had the opportunity to essentially finish off my living decks of just the Illuvials themselves. Part of me was really getting frustrated at just kind of pigeonholing my Overworld content to be looking for one thing in particular, and just not having everything available with the looming threat of the MMO showing up and the Overworld being taken down to get replaced. So I really wanted to hustle and get my collection done, but I was definitely not making as much progress as I wanted. Felt like I was spending a lot of fuel and not finding what I needed, when I can then in turn just go onto the marketplace and pick up what I was looking for literally a couple of cents for the most part. Similar to what you were saying there, Fox. Ooh, there's one. What you were saying there, Fox. Other than the tier 5s, because those are the ones that actually cost a little bit. Everything else was pretty much like $1 or less. But I definitely get like not having it there for the tier 5s, and the bugger when I was trying to actually finish off my tier 5s. There was a couple of them, because I'm just buying the floor. I wasn't specifically looking for stats or anything. That's still going to be the drive that keeps me searching for Illuvials, is finding now Illuvials with good stats. It's not so much about having my collection complete now. Now it's actually here to try and find something that's good. And that, to me, is still very, very exciting now. So I was able to do what I normally don't do in terms of the marketplace. But somebody, when I was searching for tier 5s, I'm trying to buy out the floor, and it's almost like they knew. They were scooping up floor. It was the stage 3 tier 5s. The fully evolved tier 5s. that they were scooping up right in front of me and teasing me over and over again. Absolute buggers, but we did get them in the end. The time check, see how many materials you need to make capture drone augments. Might be able to donate some materials for that. I'll definitely hit you up later. Thank you. Alright, our dear little... Okay, no, not that chart. Our dearest Tipo. Can you be hollow or can you be shiny? Number 4 on the day. 2 shots to try and get ya. Can we get it? Going to break out on the first try. I do not want to be using a... That would be another decent one too, but it's not perfect. So I do want to use just these free-to-play shards. Everything that I'm doing here today is basically something, like I was saying before, that a free-to-play brand new player can do. Hopefully this isn't going to be the first one that runs away on us, and it won't be. We will take it in the end. Our dearest Tipo, loaded up on health. Omega power and attack damage, not too bad. Gladly accept it. I do have 2 different chat windows, so bouncing between the 2. Unfortunately, the restream portion for the TikTok side of things, the chat doesn't show up on restream, oddly enough. So I do have to specifically double check and make sure everything's going on. Why did the live end? It did it again. Bugger. Yeah, I think it did it again. Let's get ourselves moving and double check that here again, and then we'll have to fire Twitch back up in a second here if it looks like. Do I run the game on top graphics node? It's definitely fantastic scenery. I personally cannot run it in top graphics when I'm streaming anyway. I have done it before though, and then yes, 100% that's one of the things that drives me and kept me with this game here, with Illuvium. Okay, so TikTok died for some reason again, so I'm going to quickly just fire Twitch back up here. This is the second time in a row it's done this.
Just what I needed.
I don't know why it does that. Yes, streaming not allowed. Okay, TikTok, we were just doing it. Anyway, let's try that again. Load ourselves into a tier 0. Oh well. Oh. And yeah, now we're situated. Now. It's a big win for Illuvium in the gaming scene. Yeah, because this is... The game with art like this can compete with what you see from like a traditional Web 2 game, for example. And the biggest thing that pisses me off to no end, especially and specifically the Web 3 gaming space, is that people swear by and say games are so good and that people need to be playing this and all this jazz, this game's fantastic, yada yada yada. I go to look at it and it makes old school RuneScape look like an absolute artistic masterpiece. Like, it just looks like absolute garbage. And I don't need big-time graphics to be able to enjoy a game. However, I have to at least somewhat like what I'm looking at. Like, say your World of Warcraft, for example. Like, it's not a pretty game anymore, but I can still enjoy it enough. But I can't look at your pixelated piece of junk and call it good just because there's the potential to earn. No, no, no. And that's why with Illuvium, the creature design kept me. With Illuvium, the graphics pretty enough to keep me in and make me happy to be inside the game as often as I possibly can. And everything else eventually just came forth with it as well. Having my collection, now having my community and being welcomed as much as I am right here, right now. That's why I stay, and I'm very, very thankful. But I needed to at least somewhat like what I'm looking at. Which I can't say a lot of in the Web3 gaming space. Illuvium is definitely knocking it out of the park. With the way the world feels and the way it looks. There is one lesser fire, Doka. Of course, it's all the way in Narnia, right in the corner of the basin. And through the rest of these as quickly as I possibly can. No exalted alluvials as of yet either, and that's the one thing that actually kind of surprised me when I was looking at all of the alluvials in the marketplace to try and finish up my collection. Like, tier 1s, they're only worth pennies. Tier 2s, like, certain links is okay, might be worth $1 or so, but not very much else. Tier 3s, okay, maybe you're starting to get to $1. Certain tier 4s, okay, maybe you're starting to get into $1 or $2, depending on statistics. But most of them are still pretty cheap. Tier 5s are really the only true exceptions that are pretty much what feels like almost at least $3 or higher. But the other one that actually surprised me were tier 0s, actually, specifically the fully evolved exalted variants. There's not a lot of them available right now. And not a lot of high stat tier 0s, no, just not a lot of tier 0 fully evolved alluvials, period. So oddly enough, given that this is the free-to-play mode, I'd argue those alluvials are still kind of in need. It's like, I know they're not usually a part of your late team composition, but having some good tier 0s can definitely give you a boost in the early game and set you up for success. And I imagine when Ranked and Leviathan starts getting a little bit more intense, that'd be pretty crazy. That's what's crazy too. Yeah, we've done everything, or are in such a position right here, right now. Like, Illuvium is such a cool game as it stands right now, and pretty much the only social aspect to this is the arena just competing one-on-one with each other. What happens when we actually start getting MMO type of gameplay with the MMO eventually coming on out here, taking on bosses, being able to explore in the overworld together and catch things, or depending on how the PvP system goes, like battling people out in the wilds, like how is that going to work? But it's still going to be just super exciting. I can't wait. Holo number 5 on the hour. Can we secure this one with our free-to-play chips? I don't know what it is about Dokas, but I think majority of my catches have been Dokas here so far. There is going to be one breaking out. Again, trying to keep this strictly free-to-play. But these free-to-play chips, of course, I can just throw a common shard at it if I really wanted to. But that's not what somebody can just pick up the game now and do. And this is going to be the first one that got away. For the heartbreak, we will take a look at the stats as it destroys itself in the dome. But it will end up getting away. Unfortunate. Thank God it didn't end up being perfect or something like that. Had I checked the stats and it ended up being a perfect, I would definitely have been sad. But that was the only one in the realm this time. On to the next run. Oops, I had my mic muted that entire time. Sorry about that. Sorry, 'tis the season. I was saying it's kind of cold. And I did not find my Kleenex. Sorry about that. But what I was saying when I accidentally muted myself. Yeah, I accidentally muted myself a little bit there. Whoopsie. Thankfully, I don't do that too much anymore. Still happens, though. But what I was saying, like, I know I was saying something along the lines of, like, it's exciting to be a part of early on here in Illuvium. And I know, like, in terms of content creation, I could be doing some other game and probably finding more success on average. But the whole idea is that I want to be here. If and when Illuvium blows up, they'll be looking for people who've already been around for a while to learn from, while also gladly, of course, accepting all the new content creators that come along with it. And that's why I'm here. I'm excited to be a part of it. Although I do come from a little bit of a different mindset, as we do pick up. This is number 5. Olente, welcome to the board. You're probably going into the fusion gulag, but we'll gladly accept you for the time being. The thing, like, I don't want to say Pokemon, for example. I don't want Pokemon to die, so to speak. I still love the franchise way too much. I still have a grand old collection, and I don't want to be the Pokemon killer. But what I do want to be here is having the potential for something like a more all-ages style of creature collector. Similar to what we see Overworld doing. I mean, they took the other extreme to it, where it was creature capturing, but literally with guns and, like, genuinely killing creatures. They took the other extreme, but I feel like there is a spot right now for Illuvium to kind of be that safe middle ground, where if Pokemon is too childish and too brain dead because they just refuse to expand on their gameplay styles or their game design. If Pokemon wants to be the brain dead childhood game, and Palworld wants to be the absolute adult only style of creature capture, Illuvium, regardless of Web 2, Web 3, does not freaking matter. Illuvium has the chance to kind of be that middle ground where both family and, like, it's safe for family, but at the same time it's a little more intense in terms of gameplay and design compared to Pokemon. So that's what I'm thinking. Exactly. Anything in terms of, like, actual real violence, I don't want to see. But, like, our creatures battling it out, and then, okay, they don't get killed, they get knocked out. Or something along those lines. Keep that kind of style, but don't introduce any sort of actual killing. Like, I know we say we're burning our Illuvials for, like, getting rid of one. But, no, it's basically, you're fusing. It's 3 coming together and becoming stronger as a whole, so to speak. We're not killing any of them. You can word it properly to make sure that there's not actually any violence intended, as we do find capture number 6 here. A Fleesh is going to join the squad, making that capture number 6 on the hour, with just under a half hour left to go. Yeah, cartoon violence. Like, I don't need to see blood. I don't need to see, like, body parts flying off of things to get immersed. No. Like, cartoon violence at most is probably the best way to go. Exactly. Like, even right here, right now, like, if I'm playing Palworld and my son walks in, I have to be careful of what I'm doing at that time. Then, yes, my son could go play Pokemon, that is what it is, but let's be honest, I'm probably bored as hell. And then with Illuvium, though, there's many times he'll walk in and I could just like, hey, come sit on the bench. Yeah, absolutely. Let's do a run. And I feel like if we can kind of keep that vibe, we have something special. And I really want to keep that. Next run. Just about 25 minutes left to go here.
Sulfuric air, humidity.
All right, let's take a look.
This place really
6 on the board so far. And there could potentially be a number 7. That was a Valente I think we can go snag. Everything else here on the eastern side seems pretty quiet. One thing that I was very surprised, a little bit off topic, but of course I miss casting already, right? I'm already kind of getting the itch to do some esports casting here for Illuvium once again. And what kind of got me started for casting Illuvium in particular was the Dreamers esports tournaments. Like, I wasn't hired by them or anything, but just when the tournaments were going on, I would record the finals and then cast over it on stream later. And I was thinking to myself, oh, maybe I can do that again. That'd be a lot of fun. That way I can keep casting Illuvium. I didn't realize Dreamers esports actually kind of shut down. That's a little bit disappointing. So in theory, like, you'll often, or in the IPL broadcast, you probably heard me talking about community tournaments. Those were the tournaments that I was talking about. And yeah, those aren't the thing anymore. Definitely unfortunate, because now there's just no tournament at all. From what I understand, because I was in their Discord still, I just had the notifications turned off because it blew up my phone too much. But they knew that their the sponsorship that they had from Illuvium was slowly coming to a close. Because I know they tried to introduce a Dreamers Pass, like a little bit of a subscription service, so that like they can get a little bit of revenue to keep the tournaments going. But they also, at the same time, because they had the Dream Ladder, so it was like an all season long thing you placed in tournaments. If you joined multiple tournaments, depending on where you finished, you would get points. And I know personally I absolutely loved that. But what killed it for me was that they brought teamfight tactics into the Dream Ladder as well, instead of giving it its own ladder. So it was basically forcing people to, like, say for an Illuvium player like myself, if I wanted any shot, as we got, that was number 7. Let's go, Valente. So if I wanted any chance of getting into prize money as strictly an Illuvium player, I would have had to play the Illuvium tournaments, and I would have had to play in Teamfight Tactics tournaments, which I don't care about Teamfight Tactics. So that put off, I'm sure, quite a few people. And then the Dream Pass itself, I mean, I understand that they wanted some sort of subscription service to try and help them with operating the tournaments. But it was a very obvious and glaring issue of creating the problem to sell you the solution. Like, it was a lot of things, like, some of it was before too. I remember there was a long time where I was actually in talks with Dreamers Esports to do casting for them, like, not just as a one-off here and there, but as a more often kind of thing, and kind of be, like, essentially exclusive to them. And one of the things as a part of that, like, was a part of like being and selling that Dream Pass and getting a cut of the Dream Pass. But there was also even like competitive integrity issues with the Dream Pass as well, because one of the things that they were selling was like prioritized customer service. And it's like, I'm sorry, but if you're a tournament organizer, every one of your tournament attendees are equal, right? If there's any sort of chance that there is bias towards one player or another, that completely ruins your competitive integrity. Anytime there's a ruling on anything, everything's going to be brought up into question. And I was just very, very sad to hear that. I gave my feedback twice, but they essentially kept a very similar, not exactly, they make some changes, don't get me wrong, but majority of the time they kept the style the same. They tried to mess around with the Dream Ladder a little bit, to the point where, oops, I almost flew past that Holo Groko. And what was I saying? Flying past that Groko completely knocked me off wind there for a second. Yeah, I was just very, very disappointed in the end, a little bit heartbroken, to the point where even I stopped competing. It was also around the same time, too. Like, Dreamers Esports, the Daydream tournaments, for the longest time were the only tournaments happening for Illuvium. So they did have a good chance for, like, first movers advantage. However, then the Illuvium Pro League came around, and everybody stopped playing in Daydreamers events because they would usually collide with the IPL sit-and-goes. And that would cause them a problem. They've moved the dates around a ton. They've emphasized more teamfight tactics. They found more success in teamfight tactics as well, bringing players in. But the new players from TFT, getting them into Illuvium, did not quite translate, even with the mixed ladder style. So they did eventually, I think, have to make a change where it was like your best 6 finishes or something like that, regardless of game, is what went into the ladder. And it still just didn't quite click. So they must have been bleeding, unfortunately, for quite a little bit. Which, again, I'm talking a lot of negatives, but I did like working with them. I did like these tournaments, as we do find Holo number 8. There we go. Groko join the squad. Create something. People help me build. Tournaments towards mistakes. Build. There's definitely potential for stuff like that. Yeah, like 100%. The need for community build tournaments is absolutely there. It's just a matter of kind of getting a read onto the system right now, because a lot of players, unfortunately, they compete strictly for the prizing, but if you go too heavy into the prizing, then there is just going to be problems for you as the tournament organizer, right? I know personally, I tried to do something similar to what you're talking about, but I tried to do it for Pokemon when I was 13. I was trying to create my own tournaments for the Pokemon VGC event out on land, and I was going to give up my my Shiny Octillery as a prize, and I was laughed at because the players that are taking it like seriously don't care about that kind of stuff, unfortunately. So it's a little bit weird. We definitely need to find some sort of happy middle ground to where it's not always about the money, and I have ideas in mind. I don't know. It's way too early because I've definitely not even gotten really anything onto paper. There's possibly number 9. But I would not be opposed to helping with a community tournament series. Happy about this one, a Greater Water Flish, Middle Stage Evolution Holo, a Lesser, okay, this one is rich in Holos this time. That's what we like to see. And that is it there. So let's start off all the way down in this corner. 3 of them. And get ourselves into the double digits if all things go our way. Yeah, like, say for Dreamers, for example, like, again, I don't blame them because they emphasized on cash prizing that entire time, and to be fair, they could before because they had the Illuvium sponsorship. But I imagine, like, one of two things could have happened. Either no matter what, regardless of what Dreamers Esports did, the sponsorship was going to dry up eventually, and they probably knew that it was not going to be renewed. So they had to get a little bit scrappy, a little bit desperate. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. Or, on the worse side of things, it could have been a scenario where, yes, Illuvium was sponsoring them, but they straight up, then Dreamers went and added teamfight tactics to their Dreamers ladder while Illuvium was still sponsoring them, and maybe that could have caused a problem? If there were any ideas about potentially continuing. But again, it's all speculation. I'm not in the inner circles, so to speak. Absolutely, Fox, I know you're a man of many ideas. I will gladly reach out and start a conversation. Okay, first time Valente going to break on out here. Absolutely. Sounds good. Let's see, can we find number 9 using these free-to-play shards? We're going to end up getting this one. There we go. Let's change that ticker. 9 Holos caught. Stats-wise, this one's definitely going to the gulag, but that is okay. No, and that's 100% as well. I know on one of the videos that I had posted recently, you had mentioned that the way I talk kind of sounds like I could possibly do, like, council work one day. I'm definitely open to the idea. And just being able to kind of, like, work my way on, have you work your way on, like, it's definitely something that could happen. Looking to get into the double digits here with 14 minutes left to go. We've got 2 of them right around the corner, including this beautiful little bugger, this Greater Flish, a middle stage evolution, all hollowed out. Is this my first encounter with one? Quickly checking my sheet. A Greater Hollow Flish I would not have, so this would be a first if I can secure this one. And it's just standalone all by itself, so this should make it easy in theory. In theory, even just get Gyro in there. No, even Gyro is too expensive, eh? I want 2 shots at catching this thing. This would give me 2 shots. And hopefully Kukulus can get the job done here. Stun is not going to line up, but at least my Ranger's just going to tank, so Kukulus just going to beat them down. There we go. Potentially shiny or hollow number 10. If we can lock this thing down. Greater Water Fleesh. 55% chance to try and capture this thing. And it would be my first if we can manage to do so. Stay in there. Let's get into double digits. Oh, we're going to get nasty with this one, of course. One more time here with the free-to-play shard. Of course, again, I know I have the bigger shards right there that I can just use that, but I am trying to display what somebody can do if they were just getting started into Illuvium. Completely free-to-play. Can the Greater Fleece join me? It is not going to join me. It will end up going away, unfortunately. Hate to see it go. Number 10. Going to just be barely out of reach for now. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. Still got one more chance to maybe even secure it just here in this run alone. Couple meters away here. Just thankful to have 3 shiny encounters in this one run alone. Got the first. Unfortunately, the middle stage evolution did not go in our favor. But how about here with this lesser Earth Fleesh? Could potentially be number 10. Okay, it does have friends. That Exalted Doka gonna make things a little bit irritating. Potentially should be fine. Just let Riplance have some fun. Cleans it up nicely. Even the Ranger's still sticking around. We've got ourselves a very, very poor statted shiny Fleesh here, but it's okay. Again, eventually a part of the shiny decks that I do want to make. I still have to get a greater Earth Fleesh at some point. First one's gonna break out. I still have 2 more shots at this. Sticking with the free-to-play shards. Gave the second time's the charm here. Can we get ourselves into 10 Alluvials caught? That we will. The Earth Fleesh is going to be our first one getting into the double digits. 10 Holos secured in an hour. Less than 10 minutes to go. Yeah, like I'm trying to, right now, going back to that tournament series idea. I'm trying to think of what would make things interesting for people, because there's a few things, of course, obviously in terms of like a reward, because you need to make it worth people's time to actually compete in these tournaments. And with the Dreamers Esports one, it was always about the ladder, always about the money at the end of the tunnel. But say someone like myself, if I were to host a tournament right now, I can't be funding a prize pool, like cash per se, out of my own pockets. Like, can't do that. Like, not in the position to be able to do so. Anything I do make is based off of, or anything I make is there to support the family, right? So, can't necessarily put up the cash prize pool, which would then, in theory, have me go like 2 ways about it. Like, we can still go for strictly the competition side of things, or maybe we do put up, say, Alluvials up for prizing. Or maybe we don't necessarily do a tournament at all. Like, one thing that I had made the joke about on the Illuvium Pro League stream, for example, is a show match of sorts between the commentators and the Illuvium, the IPL staff. Is that likely going to happen? Let's be honest, probably not. A lot of the staff are on break, and some people have just completely left the scene, so to speak. However, if there were a group of either players or content creators that wanted to have a show match of some sort, and it be streamed and casted and all the 9 yards, potentially could be fun. But again, what is going to actually keep people into that, I don't know. Like, I'm still in such very, very early stages of this. But like, personally, in my perfect world, what I would love to see is, like, say I was hosting a show match, for example, of Illuvium members. Optimally, there'd be a couple of other content creators that I could have in said show match, where we could just playfully, like, talk trash and whatnot, be your personality out on the competitive field to help kind of get them out there. There might be a couple of like actual like top level players that are maybe trying to increase their following of sorts. They can join as well, potentially. Heck, maybe other tournament organizers, other casters. But the idea is I would get a bunch of like Illuvium personalities. Heck, get the CEO on there. Can we get Kieran on for a show match? Like, we can do something along the lines where we can get all these people in here with the intention to just basically have a very enjoyable like show match of sorts, with the idea of just exposing more eyes to more creators, so to speak. That's what I personally would love to see. But here's the problem, though, because in theory, it's the eyeballs, it's the hope that, oh, I saw someone on this tournament stream, they were actually really funny there, maybe I'll go watch their content. To me, that's basically marketing, and that's kind of like a prize for itself in its own right. But people actually need that to be something worth going after. Because yeah, like, same, you're talking about merchandising, giving away assets. We can have, like, there could be some giveaways here and there, but just having something fun, as we do find number 11 on the run. But a small, consistent, I wouldn't even necessarily call it a tournament, but just, yeah, have a community hub of sorts. Because if I remember how the kind of the content community ecosystem sort of worked here for Illuvium for the last little bit while the IPL was still a thing, most of the competitive players would go watch Slicks, pretty much. Slicks and Nariba when he was playing. Pretty much over and over again. And essentially just try to see how they think, because of course Slick's a fantastic player. So the players had a place to go, but the average Illuvium player did not necessarily have somewhere to go. Like, there would be the town halls and like Illuvium news and such, but the game lives and dies by the time in between announcements. Because yes, the announcements can bring them back for a moment, but what keeps them there? So one of my goals, at least personally, why I stream so often, is so that just the casual player, whether you happen to be an Overworld exclusive player, Arena exclusive player, Illuvium 0, like, regardless of what portion of Illuvium you play, there's a spot for you here, and you're not going to be like made fun of or teased or like looked down upon by any means. No, regardless of which part of Illuvium you like, you can come here. And right now, I'd argue I'm the only one doing it. And as much as I like that, what then happens in about an hour or so when I eventually go offline is that it goes cold for the rest of the day into the next day until I eventually stream again. And especially now that IPL's done, we don't oftentimes see the players streaming anymore. They've moved on to other titles. Or they just don't stream at all. Granted, some of these players are probably, rightfully so, having a break after an intense season. So I definitely can't blame them for that. That's fair. No worries there. But it is making for a little bit of a cold winter scenario here. And we need to absolutely just find a way to mix everybody in. So yeah, if we happen to eventually, even if it's just a one-off, if there was a one-off show match where we had, say, 3 content creators, 3 staff members, and 2 pros, or something along those lines, where all of them are trying their damnedest to grow in the space, one way or another, get their name out there. This kind of show match would be perfect. We have everybody in the group chat, they're like being playful with each other, being silly. We're not taking this serious at all. No cash prizing or whatever. We might be able to find like something Billy, call it the Kuka Cup, where we have like the hollow dodo as the damn prize, just as a just as a funny little like gag, but it's all for fun and getting yourself out there. As we do find our next hollow, Lesser Water Valente. Look at this guy actually, some max out attack speed and health, movement speed as well. Making that number 12. I have a minute left on the clock, and I think there's still one more hollow to possibly get here. Can I get there in time? 12, is that going to be it? Where is this thing? It's not too far away. Maybe we can get there. Where is it? Up on the tree somewhere? Oh, I ran out of juice to jump. Get him, get him, get him, get him. Potato aim at its finest. We have 30 seconds. Absolutely, and it's just a matter of time. Like, once people actually start seeing the game and joining, it makes it so much easier, but we have to get there first. And with that, the timer is going to run out. So I'm still going to catch this hollow, but it is not going to count towards the counter. But there we have it. In 1 hour of grinding the tier zeros, we ended up with 12 hollows caught, probably 14 encounters. And we're going to wrap this thing up with probably one of the nastiest Dokas I've seen in a while. Look at this guy. Health, speed, attack damage, and the resistances and Omega Power aren't too shabby either. This hollowed out Doka coming on down. No, and everybody's got their struggle, right? Like, you're trying to get started with the Illuvium content stuff, but of course you have all of your IT and other home stuff, of course, needing to be done. I'm personally trying to do this while also trying to work another job while also being a dad. So we all absolutely have our struggles. We all have our things and our barriers. But is the community worth it? And is the game fun enough to be worth keeping doing? To me, absolutely. And because I'm a bugger, I don't want to let this Earth Doka go. I will throw the tier 1 at it. Let's close things off with a capture. Or the most exquisite breakout that I've ever seen. We'll have to see here in just a second. 99% chance to catch. Yeah, okay, it's going to be the caught spot. So we will wrap up our overworld session here with this lesser Earth Doka. Again, max health, attack speed, attack damage, and some decent resistance and decent Omega Power. Some good finds so far today. Gotta like it. And thank you. So this is pretty cool. So what I can do now, we know that we have 12. Sometime, someday down the road, I will come back and try to beat the score. But that is not today. We'll close up our overworld section here and get into the arena in just a moment's time. My head is spinning from zipping around the overworld so quickly. That's the other thing too. I'm having a harder time playing faster paced games nowadays. I don't know what it is.
Home sweet home.
I'm starting to understand what my dad felt like looking over my shoulder while I'm practicing for a StarCraft 2 tournament, seeing my screen zipping all over the place and then literally getting sick behind me trying to watch. I feel like I understand what he was going through nowadays. Quickly going to reboot the game just so that we're on a clean slate. playing for an hour here. Just want to cleanse all the temp files or whatever. And exactly, that's just it. And that's the mindset I want to keep first and foremost. Like, we're gamers, we're here for fun. It's taken a long time for me, I know personally, to even adjust to the fact that gaming to earn isn't necessarily like the worst thing in the world. I understand why people do it. But there's a part of me that still thinks there's a little bit of delusional mindsets in a lot of the Web3 gaming community, where the developers are basically expected to give financial freedom to their players. That part I'm absolutely at a loss for. But I mean, even with other games, like, I can understand playing the game as a way to earn some money, and that's grown on me a little bit. Granted, the ways that come to mind right off the rip are like, say, WoW gold farming, and I know that's technically against TOS, but there are ways to do it. But it's all about the social aspect. It's about the fun and the adventures that you're having along the way. The reason why I got into esports in the first place was not necessarily for the matches themselves, but it's for the gathering. It's for the, not the party, but it's for the social aspect, as you said there, Fox. 100%. That's why LAN parties were so huge, right? LAN parties weren't ever about a tournament. It was about having everybody together and having these, like, game nights just together in person, yelling at your buddy across the screen for screen peeking you or whatever it happens to be. Like, it was all about just the fun. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with being an investor. I don't want to... Again, I'm here for everybody. There's nothing wrong with being an investor in the slightest. I just don't want it to bleed into, like, your average everyday fun to the point where it has to be the thing in the forefront of every single thing Illuvium does. Like, technically, if you really, really think about it, I have 9 lands in Illuvium 0. I have staked ILV from the ILV I received from working IPL. I purchased some alluvials in my collection. I'm also an investor, but I'm a gamer first. And that's how it should be, in my opinion, for most individuals. But if you are heavy into investing, as long as you're enjoying your time here as well, then I cannot give you a hard time in the slightest. And that's just it as well. Like, yeah, this is going to take a long time. If it's truly going to take off like we want to, again, this is still just early phases, and it's going to be a long time. So anybody hopping in for a quick flip on investment, I always roll my eyes at. And it is absolutely inspiring. I know Kieran's a fantastic front mouthpiece for this, because yeah, anytime he's talking, especially if you know how to clip things up a little bit to skip out the ums and ahs and the F-bombs, it sounds really, really good. It sounds really, really enticing, but the thing is, it's not meant to be manipulative. It's actually like, that's genuinely him. And I feel bad, because I know I've still never talked to Kieran personally. Not even online. We know each other exist, but I've never had the chance to actually talk to him. I just find that funny. But no, I still absolutely believe in the project for nothing more. If I were to just like wrap it up with one thing in particular, at the end of the day, I came to Illuvium because I wanted an alternative to Pokemon. As it stands right now, it already is. I'm already happy. But I want to see it go further. I want to see it get bigger. And I would love for our smaller player base to all of a sudden be gigantic. Not because of investments, Not because of like queue times or like certain marketplace items being more and more valuable. Just because there's more people to play with. That's it. That is all that I want. So I'm already happy. Anything now is just that much better, and I still look forward to everything. Like the town hall, I'm definitely going to be looking forward. We'll do a little bit of a recap going into the town hall on Wednesday's stream. At least personally, what I'm going to be hoping for, what's kind of on my wish list of topics. I did throw one into the Discord already that's rather like clearly known in regards to the Illuvium Pro League and how well did that do in terms of moving the needle. Or how destructive was it? That I'm definitely curious about. Squawks, are you waiting for me, bud? Okay, there you are. Now this must be Squawks' main time to play, because I swear, every single time I stream, I find Squawks. Low-key, I would absolutely love to see something like that, but it doesn't have to start off as Netflix, for example. I feel like I gave everybody an example of what it could look like as well. A Fire Inside video I did there, where I basically, I think it got called an Illuvium fanfiction. But just the idea of looking at your Illuvials that way and making a storyline out of it is very doable. And I think that can absolutely be expanded on. And it doesn't have to start at Netflix. It can start with just an individual. Okay. Something like this. Some early game Sporios. It was a long time ago. The A Fire Inside video is what I called it, or an Illuvitale, is a video I made about a month or two ago, I think, at this point. Where it was an Illuvium Arena game, but it was just told in a more storyteller-like-esque kind of fashion rather than just a guide. And I was just saying that, like, people, like, somebody could do that too in the Overworld. I can see, like, Crocodile Hunter style of video where, like, they're talking about Illuvial, they're seeing them in the field, going out, battling it, and then capturing it for themselves, giving a little bit of a storytime style and personality to it. I have heard about it, absolutely. I remember seeing it on your profile, and I do remember it coming up in conversation one time a while ago, I do recall. Yeah, and I know I always have to be very, very careful when I call something a fan fiction, because I know that is a very, very blanket term that could also lead into, if you're not careful, to some deviant art, if you know what I'm saying. But no, it's not that kind of video. Nope, and that's a really good idea as well. Of course, we do have the Discord in regards to being able to get Illuvium news, but in terms of what does that actually mean for the average Illuvium player, that part of it is definitely not there, so I do like the idea. It's like, of course, the only other, I guess, relatively consistent as I find myself my little baby Lynx evolving up. Yeah, the video is the is on my YouTube profile. It's the one where the Archos and I are on fire in the thumbnail. That was the one that I was talking about. I think you've seen it already, but this is the what I was referring to. Like, you can like give personality and tell a story in game in a cinematic kind of setting. Okay, we've hit ourselves maxed out on credits now. We're sitting pretty. Disruptive, yes please. Let's give Empath over to you for now, you for now. Something along those lines. Now, I haven't talked much about the game currently at hand here because I'm just willing to get my ass beat for a little while. With the way that it stands, I believe I am the only one that has any sort of Scion weapon, which should leave the door wide open for some Invoker play. But I need to absolutely build up some credits, so I'm gonna take a big hit to start things off, but especially now that I have at least the middle stage evolution onto my links, maybe we can start having some more even fights. Not my earliest, but you're definitely one of the earliest. I'll definitely give you that. No, and that's definitely the call out, not just there for Fox, but for everybody. If you're having a fun time, regardless of which platform you happen to be on, whether it be following on Twitch or X, or if it's subscribing here on YouTube, would love it if you could hit that subscribe button. Let's hang out again sometime. We still have a lot to do here today. Still gonna be live for about another 40 minutes or so. Get 1-2 games in, plus our Illuvium 0 cooldown. We're not done just yet, but just so that we can pick up where we started again on Wednesday. You're always welcome when I'm off stream just to hit me up onto Discord. Because of course I will be with the kiddos, but if I do have the opportunity, even if it's just through text, to kind of talk about the game, I will 100% do so. Just sometimes might be a little bit of time in between responses, depending on what's going on, but I'm always welcome to any sort of comments or any sort of discussions, 100%. Alright, Link's MVP here so far. Thank you, Relentless Links. We can make some replacements now. Archos is here. I, for the longest time, didn't have a Scion partner for my my Ranger, so that was a little bit of a missed opportunity. Something like this for the time being. Didn't get to completely utilize my full bench trying to move things around. But there, yeah, now that we've got at least the 2 Scion buff, our Ranger's hitting a little bit harder, but it might not necessarily have the support to truly get the job done versus some of these other players. Seiru off to a fantastic start, it looks like. Still level 5, but yet 5 fighters already. That definitely hurt. So we do have the 1 Tetopi. I'm going to get myself up to level 6, and it depends on how badly do I truly want to just get this Invoker up and running here. Check the weapons just in case, but I've got the one I want. Omnivamp plus health is probably one of the most clutch perks I can personally take here on this staff. Here's another Bulwark. I'll gladly throw you onto the board. Let's make you an Empath too, because we can. One more. Double Mammoth is definitely tempting. An expensive investment right now, though. I think... I might actually take it then. We'll sack our dodos. Get rid of the Atipo. And I've got a little bit of room. Not maximum interest right now, but we're still very, very wealthy. Because eventually this Lynx is going to wear out its welcome if I'm going for Invokers. Just by the fear, or the pure nature of the way this game's going, though, I've found myself a bunch of Lynxes just naturally. The only other person using them right now seems to be Squawks, and they don't have any others on the bench either. So, I could just accidentally and naturally end up finding my fully evolved Lynx. Let's see, so I'm mainly looking for tier 1 bonus, or there's no tier 1 bonus, but it'd be a tier 5. So, not quite there. The attack speed, not a terrible idea. But energy refunding for some of my invokers later is definitely valuable as well. So I'm definitely going to snag that. Hello, beautiful. Lynx is here. Just naturally, I wasn't even rolling for it. Do need to get myself up to 5 Bulwark, but again, how much time am I wasting waiting for Tatopi? I think it might actually even be wiser just to skip Tatopi, even though nobody else is really going for it. I'd be spending too much credits. This is good, I needed that. We'll get ourselves our next level. I'm going to trade out Fleesh for Mammoth. I don't necessarily need the damage from Fleesh, but I would much rather have the repositioning that the Mammoth can provide. And everybody else would do something like this. I have room for one more Bulwark here as well. Help protect the Ranger just in case. Make myself a little bit of a bunker. And give you some attack damage, because why the heck not? Definitely now having this fully evolved Lynx is going to really cover for what should normally be a really bad spot in my, my game plan. Doesn't necessarily 100% cure it, but it's going to at least make it so I'm getting a little bit less damage done to me every single round. If not getting lucky and clutching up a couple of rounds here and there. Once you run away from leveling up 3 Holo Arctaces. Is that going to be a beautiful Holo Monarch in our future? That would be incredible. And did we get it? There we go. Remember how I said that the Omnivamp is slept on? Moments like those are exactly why I love it so much. I already have Matu here, so that was a nice little find. Keep putting my credits into the level, but staying above that maximum interest threshold. Because as you can see, compared to basically everybody else in this lobby, I took a big hit early, but now I'm still just kind of on cruise control. There's a few people within the 50s and 60s, but nobody is on the same level in terms of economy. The one thing that's not necessarily gone my way so far is some of the augments that went my way. I got a bunch of attack and support off the rip. I'm going to eventually need a bunch of the Omega Power augments instead, preferably. But maybe we can get lucky here. Good little fight there for Mikkel. That is going to be an Inferno team. Could be potentially problematic. Okay, there we go. Do I have a 5th bulwark? Right now I do not. So what I'll do is move them over. Let's get Alfie into play. Snuggle up with Matu. Everybody snuggle. And have the one augment go over to Alfie. Hollow Monarchs are absolutely beautiful. Monarchs in general are absolutely beautiful. So if you happen to find a hollow one, that is incredible. Best of luck with the fusion if that's what ends up happening. Look at this. This is meant to be a Scion team, but my Lynx is stealing the show for me here. Doing a fantastic job. There's a reason why I love this thing. And I haven't even truly been at the max potential of this build. Optimally, you want to be at Toxic Harbinger with the Caradulo, but I don't even have that. It's still a Carablue. Hey. The squiz there is going to tease me a little bit, but not going to bite for it. 100% beautiful, and then made these stats be ever in your favor. It will be 100%. Perfect, perfect. Wanted to put the Omega Power onto my Alfie, but I would have accidentally fused it with my Matu's Augment. So I'm going to be down an Augment. But I feel like we could probably still get the job done here. Still got plenty of firepower. Alfie's still very, very safe. My Ranger's still very, very safe. My Lynx has been basically acting like a pseudo-bulwark in this instance, just because of the augment it does end up having. The immunity alongside the stacking attack speed, alongside the regenerative impact reactor. It is going to get close. It needs one more elimination to get some heals. There we go. Hold on for at least a little bit longer. That last little route, though, it might seal the deal here. Alfie, do you got a shot available? I think you got canceled out immediately. So yeah, we're going to eat it this time, but that's alright. We're down to 44 HP. There's my 5th bulwark. Can put some of these credits towards level 9. We're right there. And then optimally, I eventually swap out Grocko, because it's still just a lesser Grocko. I didn't even get a greater one in this game. But swap that one out with a Scarabok once it shows up. Be at level 9 in just a moment. Do we have any more yellow augments, please? No, we're just going to be getting attacked. That's going to be irritating. The second blossom damage going to be quite nice. Let's see if can we get a fusion thing to work? Starting energy or energy resist piercing? We can try that. Then let's give you Mammoth. Take the emergency button. Have some attack damage too while you're at it. A bulwark chip as well. Okay. So I can just make this trade. Give the bulwark to them. Apologies if the kiddo crying comes through the stream here. And now we're in a position where I can forget to put an Illuvium on the board, so Portatofi is going to be a tank in this instance. To filter the map for specific... Yes. That was definitely something that I still am a little bit frustrated with. Like, the white ore, the Geo something, and the Lazurite that you need for getting shards. Yes, I know they're different colors, but it's such a fine, like, small difference that half the time I can't actually see it out on the map. And it irritates me so much. I really do hope that there's a way to fix that one day. And I do hope in the future that we can just filter it. Ranger? You got this, buddy? Not quite. 29. So let's see, does anybody else have Sinolf? I don't think so. I might take that water augment. Oh, the shield might be nice too. The shield versus the fire might not be a bad idea. Okay. Tofi, come back. Fleesh, fill the need. There is our first. Let's go Verdant Invoker. Question mark. Scarabok. Switch with Blue. And Matu number 2 is going to come on through. So now we actually have Invoker. With Fleesh joining as well does allow us for a bit of an odd one, but I need to find one more Cling to get that Verdant style on through. But as we can see, this even as is already a very, very tanky squad. And one thing, a little bit of a missed opportunity that I'm seeing I'm doing right here, right now, I should have that Bulwark augment onto my Lynx instead, and give one of these augments to one of my DPS units instead. There is the Twine. That is exactly what I'm looking for. Let's give the immunity over to Sinalf. Let's give the tankiness over to Lynx. Do something like this here to kind of keep my guys safe. They too have a Sinalf, so let me scoop that Alfie up for a second. But all the items are sharp squares. It's not something that I've truly noticed. I'd have to see a side-by-side picture to truly get the right idea about it. Yeah, so my Fleesh is going to sacrifice itself here for the greater good. This second Sinolf beam, though, is going to hurt. Can it hit my Ranger, please? Get the Verdant proc, exactly what I'm looking for. Helps us stay alive, helps us take down Goobshot, who happens to have a bunch of those Sinolfs that I'm looking for. And does anybody else have them currently? They do not. Scarabok, you can level up to Goliath. There is one more. I'm going to spend a little bit, down to 50. Flare is now evolved there. There we go. My playlist seems to have changed again now, hasn't it? Every other stream, I feel like that happens. I have it on loop, and then decides not to loop. Interesting. A question of play the game so much, I wonder if small... I don't think it would be small changes. It depends on exactly what you'd consider as a small change. Because I feel like the game is already flushed out enough to be popular, but there's just something missing. And I don't know if it's an onboarding problem, or if it's... I don't necessarily think it's necessarily gameplay. Like, yes, the Overworld definitely needs to become an MMO. This one's gonna hurt here. Hang on a second. Oh boy, yeah, we're gonna get hit pretty hard. We've made it into the points. We've made it into the top 4. But we are taking a beating now in these last couple of rounds. Yeah, because based off of at least the limited experience I've seen from other players on the outside looking in. So of course the big thing is of course the Web3 stigma. As soon as people know that the game has any sort of Web3 involvement, they see it as a scam and they push it away. That is of course a big issue. So what then in theory needs to happen is it just needs more user-generated content, or the UGC aspect of marketing. Show that people are actively playing the game and that they're having a great time. second. A little bit of a crunch time moment here. See if we can clutch this up real quick. I do not want to go down. Harbinger, big ol' mammoth, welcome. Dualef, welcome. Those are the two big power spikes I basically was hoping for. Everything else here is just gravy, so I'm actually just going to save the credits. You're not going to be council soon? Well, there you go. Congratulations. That's awesome. Please shut down the ramp fight. There we go. Mikkel had quite the run going. It's time to make the comeback, though. Hey, good luck with that, Fox Oracle. Give him hell. In a good way, of course. Up against Squawks, that is majority nature-based. Again, it's that damn forest that I have to be careful with. Let me scoop this guy, actually. Potentially. Do I want to switch Fleesh out to lose Verdant, but then get another Scion on board? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Nah, I think I do want to keep it the way it is. If I were to somehow hit level 10 and be able to add on Octius, then I'd be happy, but I feel like I do need that Verdant to keep my backline alive versus some of these later game scenarios. Dualef, go nuts, please. Take out the healer, pretty close, but not quite. Mammoth, can you line him up here for me? I didn't even see the stun go out. Okay, I see it went down to the bottom. Rooted up again, my shots just aren't landing. Getting stun locked by this damn Blasonite over here, and that is going to actually be the end of me here, it looks like. Not very, very well done. Going up against the Ghost, but still just the positioning of the Blasonite. Did not take it into as much consideration as I should have, and I got completely stunned out all my casts. So yeah, maybe in that instance there, I should have taken one Bulwark off the board. Put on instead the Octius, not for the Octius's firepower, but I would have unlocked that 5 Scion buff, which would have given me immunity when casting. That would have been huge. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it one day. Turn, yeah, number go up, exactly. I'm alright with that. Give it a couple minutes here. If I can't find a game within the next 5 minutes, that's alright. We'll just hop on over to the Illuvium 0 cooldown. That way I don't go too far here into overtime. The plan for the next couple of days, of course, I do fire off a stream schedule now on all platforms, so you can kind of get a little bit of a glimpse of it a little bit earlier on. But the plan for the next few days here, so no stream tomorrow, but then on Wednesday, I do plan on kind of giving my hopes for what topics will be talked about at the Illuvium Town Hall on Thursday. Yes, they did make the Discord post and listed a couple of the topics that they're going to be going over, but like the topics within the topics is kind of what I'm talking about. Like the little specifics, that's what I want to see. We'll go over that alongside our usual Overworld Arena and Zero gameplay. Then on Friday, we'll go over everything. See what is coming up. Is there any sort of exciting announcements, or are we just kind of buckling down for a cold winter season? We'll have to see. Still earning consistent 4th and above, and need the Arena Illuvium boot camp. Yeah, that'd even be something cool. Absolutely. It's really weird because I personally don't like giving advice, but not because I don't like helping people, but I always feel like I'm misleading people. Because I'm not good enough to be someone to do that. But then I look at my rank and it's like, okay, you're top 50. So, in theory, I'm doing okay. I technically could. I don't know, it just feels weird. I'm not in this position very often. There is one video that's actually kind of interesting that I have on my video wish list to do. And it's literally casting 101 with Illuvium in mind. I'm curious if that'd be something that people would be interested in as well. Like, what am I looking at? How am I putting storylines together? Even if it's just a random match, like the pacing and that kind of stuff. That is something I could absolutely feel confident in making a video on. Because I do want other casters to level up. Like, I would argue, in terms of at least being energetic and putting storylines together, that I'm probably the best one in Illuvium currently right here, right now. Paz and Caveman, of course, are very, very good in their own rights, do not get me wrong. And I would argue, in terms of specific breakdowns, Caveman could probably do it maybe a little bit better than I can. And in terms of like the entire tournament series as a whole, breaking it down, Paz is definitely a little bit better in that regard. That's why the trio of us was actually so damn good, actually, because we all had a little extra something. But I do want to level more and more people up as well. I don't want it to just be myself. Zico Perico, if you're in chat once again, good luck, have fun. This time on Friday, you sniped me, but you called it out in chat. If you happen to be here, good luck, have fun. Yeah, like what I'm looking at and like how I'm putting stuff together, that very well might be something that I make in the future. There's Zico Perico, I knew it! I knew you were here! Good luck, mate. Got Abyssal Basin this time, so of course the composites around 11 and 25. I always forget about them and never have the right board positioned. Yes, on X, Fox, you're the only one chatting. I do have Zico Perico on Twitch, and I did have some people here in the YouTube side of things as well a little bit earlier. Yeah, oddly enough, Fox, this might be the first time I've really had anybody talking to me on the X side of things. Normally it is very, very quiet, but you're carrying it here today. Do this, gets my fighter juiced up. Do something like this. Come in at an angle. Yeah, Doka shows up late, but that's okay, so it's not going to be targeted right away. In theory, their Doka should start attacking mine, taking some heat off of my Graco. Graco is now untargetable, but they will be targeted once again as soon as Caribou goes down. Do we get the Fleesh before the shots? Very, very close, and I think the Ranger should be able to clean this up now. Right as the Omega comes out. There we go. There's absolutely potential for that, Fox. Just send me a message on Discord, and once I talk with my wife and see what's going on here today, I will see if there's a potential where I can just stay on a voice call. Did not get any of the weapons that I'd wanted. Now I have all of the weapons that I've wanted. got 1 shield, 2 shields. We've got strip mode with the Scion weapon. What is Zico Perico doing? Of course, you're going to wait till the last bloody second, aren't you? When in doubt, Aegis. Get up to the next level this time. You now have the 3 bulwarks. Dodo, come on in. At least this game I actually have the Greater Graco. Zico Perico, what did you end up taking? The air fighter weapon? Alright. There we go. Stun up that Valente. Poke them down, little Caribou. Perfect. Had I not leveled to 4, I absolutely would have lost this one. Okay, Tipo. Not gonna need you. I'm gonna keep the Fleesh anytime you get the chance for some sort of Nature Fleesh potential. It's really weird, but it can work. Combat Rhythm, I'll gladly accept. A angled line of scrimmage with Kuka to follow up. Go for that for now. One of the changes on the testnet patch I'm really going to be curious about is the changes to Tsunami, because they're trying to make it so that it hits a little bit harder and you get more energy regen by using Tsunami. But they are also making, I believe, Flood and Geyser tankier so that you can actually put it in the front line and get away with it. I'm very, very curious to see how that'll end up turning up. So I'm thinking about it, like, I wish I had something that I can bind my Ranger to right now to get some sort of buff of sorts, and I have Tsunami right around the corner, but that wouldn't do me any good right here, right now. If you hear a drilling sound, apparently my young one is doing some housework. Okay, so here we go. So now that we have the Caradulo, what I can do... Doka, thank you for your service. Bring your stuff over. Let's bring the Nature Fleesh. This is why we keep it. We're going to bind to the Ranger. There's our Toxic. We don't necessarily have a carry, but maybe we can bleed them down. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to be looking forward to seeing what ends up happening there, with especially Flood in particular, because at least Axodon, like, regardless of if it has Tsunami or not, is just a fine, good standalone unit. But going into the Flood, it was always kind of weird because it was like a half tank. It wasn't truly a tank. It was too squishy to actually be one, but was too weak to be a caster. So I'm curious as to if these testnet changes go through, what it'll look like. Okay, Cling, there's another one of my tanks. See if we can potentially get our Fleesh up to its greater form here as well. We're right around the corner from being maxed out on credits. The annoying part about this current scenario, though, is I'm going for Aegis. I have not gotten a single Archie on my bench, so I'm gonna likely, unless something happens in these next couple rounds, have to roll for it, when I would much rather be putting that experience into my level. A nice find here, though. This is now going to enable the Harbinger side of things. Rocco, thank you for your service. Toxic Harbinger is currently online. Spites is level 6, so I am probably going to get mega clapped in this fight. I wonder, actually. Rocco, come in. No, I don't want to get rid of that because of the whatchamacallit. the Harbinger buff and the Toxic. I definitely need to keep Fleesh on there. Next level I have a play, but I'm going to have to probably take one more rough loss here in order to get there. The Recycler, too, is a part of the next patch, where you can take an augment that you don't want, throw it into the side, and then next round it changes to another augment in the same category. That will be an incredible, incredible change. Clear out the Dokas. I can't see myself necessarily using that. So what kind of carries can I look for? So right now, still pretty much everything's on the table. And there is one more of my tanks. So, Rocco, thank you. Let's move our 2 tanks into the field. This now gives us the 5 Bulwark buff. I'm going to get myself to level 6 on the next go-round, and then look for Archie. Please snuggle up with Hetty, but you're probably still going to get blown up, but that's okay. The hype of catching as many alluvials the easy way versus the MMO difficult way. The only thing that would be a little bit difficult I can see is that I would need access to both forms of catching in order to truly do that, unless I'm not doing it live, like one after another, just having footage of the old one versus the new one. Yeah, that could absolutely work. Okay, let's level up. We will have Dodo hold the line for now. The Lynxes being here are teasing me. They want to come play. Are they playing with anybody else? No? Screw it. Okay. I wish I had an Arcane Lynx right now that could shoot right through that bunker composition. Hopefully we can win this one and then be at maximum interest. But it will be tough. It does look like this bottom side here with that flare is doing a very, very good job at staying alive. But my Axon is there. As soon as that shield pops, I imagine it'll go down. There we go. Yeah, we'll probably lose, but it is what it is. Still not an Archie in sight. Really, in this entire game, like, nobody is truly going for Archies. Okay, empowered attacks. The AoE. Do I get the healing? No, let's go for the AoE. Alright, so Fleesh can now be leveled up. Small victories here. Dodo. Blue. No, we already got that one. Not an Archie in sight. My goodness. Yep, that's exactly a fantastic plan for a video like that. 100%. Okay, so just because I have a hunch that there could be... There's no chance I'm being trolled, is there? One Archie, but that's fine. Part of me always worries, because they don't actually show what alluvials you have on your bench, right? So we've even seen it in IPL, especially during the World Finals, where people would buy up, say, dashes, for example. Never actually use them on their team on the battlefield, but they would have all of them on the bench. So it wouldn't show up, and people would roll their credits trying to get dashes, but meanwhile they can't find any because they're all on somebody's bench. so their quick scout wouldn't ever find it. It's crafty. Good energy cost, attack speed, probably not a bad idea. Bloodthirst, I like that as well. There is the Legion. We end up getting Harbinger, actually. Okay. Optimally, I was hoping that I'd be Aegis by now, but of course I do not have the proper augments for it. Or not the proper augments, but the proper bench for it. Still looking for that Fleesh. Or not the Fleesh, the Archie. That's my first Archie right there. The fact that it's taken so long to get there is kind of heartbreaking. Granted, we've not taken as much heat as we could have, so it could have been much, much worse. I have Harbinger on the links. I know there could be a better use for it, but I'm just hanging on for the time being. Fusion crates. Let's get the one. Is there any air users today? Yes, there is, actually. So let's make sure that we have true sight. Do something like this for now. Do the burn. Alright, Archie, please. I literally have gotten this guy before you. Okay. Yeah, just do this for now. 3 Harbinger online very, very quickly into this fight. For Steam Phantom? Potentially. Down Cling Archie. What the heck, bro? Where are you at? Okay, I think... I don't know if I don't know. I'm so torn right now. Water Dagger Ramfire, that would definitely be a lot of fun, for sure. Yeah, like Hetty's here now. Ay, ay, ay. So dead set on this as well. I've definitely kicking myself a little bit with how this is going. Well, let's give it to you. Everybody else do something like this. Escort my Scorpion, please. Yeah, 3 Toxic, 3 Harbinger, 5 Bulwark. It's a relatively tanky squad. The icing on the cake in this scenario is that I supercharged a Scorpion with Aegis, but again, still just barely missing that final touch. We are still winning, though. And thankfully, I've not gotten too stupid greedy with how I'm playing this. And to be fair, there are still no Archies out on the board. Or no Archoses, rather, which is extremely unusual. But everybody seems to be playing some sort of rogue or some sort of fighter-based kind of composition. It's so weird to see. Kiddos are getting a haircut, apparently. There's one more Archie. There's one more Lynx. Keep this for the Toxic for the time being. I know I could be doing so much more. Here. Can we just destroy that Dasher real quick? That would be an absolute crazy composition. You get 2 of those. I feel like you've won the game, let alone all 4 of those. Oh, I might have kind of left my Ripturus alone a little bit, but thankfully these elimination heals are kind of coming in clutch here, keeping them alive. Does not matter if we're fighting on the magma. This is looking quite nice here. I'm complaining, saying I'm not getting a very, very good team comp, but I'd argue that I should just shut up and actually enjoy the ride, because currently we are on a tear. I am right around the corner from snagging Lynx. I am right around the corner from snagging Archos. And I'm on progress to actually maybe even find Riplance. And there's Archos, for the love of... Okay, we got him. Okay, Fleesh, you can leave now. Thank you for now. Archos, come in. Aegist. Okay. Backline. Catch these rogues, please. You can stay here. Everybody, take the long way around. We now have Aegis Harbinger. I'm not going to all in on just Harbinger. We're going to get Aegis involved in this as well and see if we can get the job done. We still have 3 Toxic. This is a scary squad here from Sprites, though. I do have an emergency button, but it's on my Axon right now. I should actually have that onto my my Riptorus, but it looks like it's still going to be able to hold. There we go. Screw your verdant puddles. I got Toxic. Yeah, Axodon Geyser would absolutely be a devastating combo too. 100% Fox. Okay, we can actually level a little bit now. So now Lynx can come out to play. I just casually have, you know, a fully evolved Lynx just sitting on my bench, but it's kind of funny. I kind of want to put the emergency button or the phase breaker onto my Riptorus. But I don't know what to give up. I don't want to give up its true sight, but I at the same time like that energy resistance piercing. Oh, actually, that might be it. Give the energy resistance piercing to the Lynx instead, and then give myself the phase breaker. I could potentially have another Omega Power Augment here for my Lynx as well. The healing, there we go. 1, 2. Let's do the... I mean, just get the raw damage out. Let's just do it that way. Take that. Take this here, Riptorus. Okay, all y'all snuggle. Take the attack damage as well, because Lynx does have actually a pretty decent auto attack. Do I wish to level? Oh no, this is prime time spot for looking for Riptorus, so let's see. Go down to the maximum and then pause. So we do seem to be finding some resistance now, and it's because I did not scout ahead of time. Does look like Sprites also has a Riptorus. Wicked Soul also has a Riptorus. How much do they have? They only have the one. Okay, so it's just more so annoying than anything, but not quite. So optimally, I should have done that scouting ahead of time and took that 30 credits that I had and put it into the level. Okay, second wind, not a bad idea. Fire, not what I'm looking for. Fortress Protocol is not a bad idea either. Second wind is emergency heal, though, would be quite nice. Pure attack damage. I think let's be safe and go in the second wind. Yeah, I kind of have my Riptorus trapped in this position, so I'm not going to stay that way. Let's bring Ranger. Let's bring them out like this. Keep my tanks like this. And then in theory, this should give me a wide open shot here for Lynx to go directly into the back line and shred. But it looks like the first cast is going to go more so towards that Twine, which will take Archos down a little bit. So not necessarily perfect positioning on my part, but we can maybe still do some damage here. Riptorus is still doing good. These Lynx shots aren't bad by any means. This next cast is going to be a little bit of a nothing burger, sadly. Riptorus, hang on for at least a little bit longer, so at least my Lynx can now start to target. We're not going to get that next shield. Where's the burst? Here it comes, right through all three, but they are in that verdant puddle. They have a lot of sustain, and there's a long time between each of my casts, so they will be able to heal me. Nice little squad here from strip mode. Able to hold off my damage for the time being. And Wrecked Soul is still in here. Update in progress is still here. So these credits are going towards leveling. And then what I can do... I'm not sure if this works. But I wonder. I don't think both of them give their stats. But what if they do? No, I miss Ascendant as well, Fox. 100%. I do miss it. Yeah, that was the game mode that was out, essentially. Like, Gauntlet wasn't even, like, what we're playing right now with the 1v, or the 8-player free-for-all. This wasn't a thing when I first got into Illuvium. It was Ascendant. That was the main game mode. And I absolutely do miss it dearly. That's where I constructed my very, very first team. As both of my opponents that I was hoping to fall did end up falling. And I find Riptor. There is the one. I want to spend, but at the same time, I should be nice and I should be good. Not do it yet. Yeah, I've been around since the very, very first land sale for Illuvium 0. That's what got me started. The thing is I wasn't necessarily... I wasn't making content for Illuvium back then. Or... like, I was playing it, but I wasn't making any content yet. I was still working with college esports at the time, so I didn't... have much time to make my own stuff. And I wasn't under the name of Silent yet. I was still under my college esports name. What a squad. Absolutely crushed that fight. Good job, guys. I do remember seeing your name a long, long time ago as well. I never bought any of the merch. No, I don't have the varsity jacket. I have varsity jackets for my old team, but not for Illuvium. Let's see. Cryptor. Where are you at, buddy? Not going to find it off the first little bit here. The only one that has... oh, Sprite still has it too, eh? None on the bench, though. There is a Riptor in there. Just gotta find it. Zika Perico making quite the run back here, though. It's been quiet for the most part here in this game. There it is. Hello, gorgeous Scorpion. The Berserker. The Riplance. It is here. My Holo Riplance getting some airtime. Then let's do the Pulse. Give this over to the Lynx. Get some health. Let's get some tank in here. Holostasis. Give this to you. Give you some attack damage as well, and do something like this. They do have a Fisto, which is going to be very, very scary. I have no easy way to get back there unless the Lynx can clutch out a shot for me, but I really need to be prepared ahead of time to truly get that shot in there. Riplance is trying their damnedest, but it's probably going to get flung in just a moment's time. Nope, not quite. Does end up getting stunned. Kukaraf doing exactly what it needs to do. And Zika Perico looking to run the show here today. Okay, sprites. What do I need? 30 to level? We will do that. What can I add, really, based off of what I have? I think I do need to actually start spending a little bit. Alfie might not be a bad idea for when we go up against Seco Perico again. Titanor, question mark? Actually, that might be the way to go here. Not Titanor. But for Ador instead. Oh, my poor Lynx doesn't actually have a partner to truly utilize its Scion buff with, so that's a little bit of a missed opportunity. Okay, come on, Riplance. It's a little bit of an awkward spot here with all of these rogues. That Charm's making things nasty. Pengu, we do take it down. Here comes the burst damage from Riplance, though. That is going to be very, very troublesome. Lynx does not get a cast off. We will take the hit. We're not eliminated yet. But Sprites is looking good. Archelion, welcome. Okay. The big guy is here. Something like this. Let's get the anti-rogue crew in here. Let's move Riplance up a little bit. I don't want you caught right away. Pause for a second. I know my Ador's in a little bit of a rough spot, but Axon is right there, hopefully able to keep everybody held for at least a little bit. Malera Charm's always going to make things troublesome, but Riplance is still doing okay. Does have a couple of eliminations. It's onto the Penguin. It doesn't have a phase breaker, which means I can take it down. Is this enough to kill off Sprites? It is actually Seco Perico. Here we go, bud. Let's go. 1-on-1 with one fight left. Another Harbinger chip inbound. Okay, this time it's much different though. Riplance cannot be the one in the front line versus the squad. We do need our tanks here. Is there any chance of a last second blotto? There will not be. Need Harbinger quickly. I'll give it to Krunk. It's maybe not necessarily the best thing in the world, but at least having that next Harbinger online is going to allow me to buff up my Riplance further. Here we go. One final battle. Of course, the Mephisto up in the very northern side of the arena. That's the hyper carry. It's got additional starting energy, and if it hits a shield, it is going to be supercharged. But if my Scorpion can get there and get on top of that Mephisto, it'll absolutely be curtains. It's healing, it's hanging on, but the Mammoth, what a shunt, but it's actually not going to do that much damage. We're there, we're on top of them. Mephisto, do you have the resets, or is my Riplance going to be able to tear on through? One more cast is not going to be enough. Seco Perico, well played, good games. But we will end up taking the W here today. GG's. It took an eternity to get that Aegis online, but when it did, the classic Toxic Aegis, but with the assistance of Harbinger early because I didn't have the Aegis, actually kind of came in clutch. It let me sort of double dip into both strategies rather than focusing on just one. And it worked out rather nicely. I believe that was three Toxic, 2 Aegis, 2 Harbinger, or 3 Harbinger at the very end. And we absolutely crushed it. Defeating some of the people that I watch win, it definitely, like, I will say this. My time being a caster definitely helped me actually study and understand the game at least a little bit more. prior to this season, literally all I would do, there's a reason why I have so many so many videos called I have a links problem, because I would get to level 5, see if more than 1 or 2 people were getting lynxes, and if there wasn't any more than that, I would mash whatever lynx happened to be, and then build a team composition around that lynx. It was very, very fun. And heck, even still, I enjoy doing that to this day, making lynxes work where they shouldn't be. Like, heck, even in the last game, I had a Scion team and I had a fighter lynx. Does that fit? Absolutely not, but I love lynxes, so I'll take it. But it definitely worked out there. That's how I used to be, but now, like, I actually have a better idea of, not the flow charts, but, like, kind of what you should be expected to do in a competitive environment, like having your game plans, focusing down, like, at least personally, I have 2 play styles. I play Scion, I play Aegis. If I do anything different, I know that I am at risk of losing because I don't have the chart mapped out in my head at all. And watching all these IPL players do that week after week really, really helped. And yes, that is something that I kind of do as well. Even with my own gameplay, I do kind of keep that same casting tone and I guess pacing, so to speak. At least for the super uppity moments, the exciting moments. There you go. Then you won ILV, that tier 3 Lynx teams win. I mean, fair enough, because if you actually find the fully evolved Lynx, you do set yourself up quite nice. Like, I remember in that last game, or not the last game, but the game before that, I should have, in theory, have been getting clobbered trying to run Scions early, like, over and over again. But because I had that Lynx, it just completely filled a hole in the game plan, even though it doesn't necessarily belong there. But no, you're probably right. So just quickly wrapping things up here with my Illuvium cooldown. This is one of the tier 2 plots I just got recently. It was already pre-built up to Nexus level 8, and I'm just finally now getting it leveled up to Nexus level 9. At that point, it's time to just get all of our extractors and our pumps and whatnot, get all of our resources loaded up, but I'm actually not going to add too much into this. I'm not going to add any research labs or any sort of scanners, because I want this to be open and ready for whenever training gyms do become a thing. Now, the Halcyon Sea, of course, trying to get our scanners leveled up on this one. I only have the one tier 5 scanner as of this moment. Everything else is all just tier 4. And what's painful for especially tier 1 players, getting a scanner up to level 5 takes 300 Hyperion. And I only get, what, 30-something? 38 Hyperion a day. So it takes, give or take, like 8 days, at least a week, of extractors going to just get one of these scanners up to level 5. Of course, that's not counting all of the passive Hyperion. So that's why I say maybe about a week. It takes about a week for every single one of these scanners. But I'm going to, again, it's a slog, it's an absolute marathon. But once I have all of these scanners at level 5, whenever there's a new set that comes out, and I would be able to scan for everything immediately, and hopefully start to continue the collection that way. And of course, those that have been maybe looking forward to my 2 Illuvium videos, I have 2 of them coming around the corner. One is going to be how fast can you take a brand new tier 1 and get a blueprint off of it. And then there is going to be just a generic building guide for Illuvium 0. Those are in production. They are being worked on. And a similar scenario here, how I had the opportunity to watch the IPL pros play in IPL, and that's kind of by osmosis. I've kind of learned through that way. Oddly enough, there is another streamer out there that I just had to watch once. And I learned so much about the game already, and that has largely to do with the fact that they're the #1 player in Illuvium 0. Celaris does stream every once in a while. And it's under a different name, though. I had it. I'll try and dig it out later. But I had spent a couple hours watching their stream, chatting with them and whatnot, and learned so much about the ecosystem and then the way that just Illuvium 0 works in general, that I'm very, very happy to have stumbled upon that stream from the community content area in the Illuvium Discord. Okay, our lone tier 5 scanner is going to be a dud today, and that is a-okay. And like, it took what I already had, like watching them, and then I was able to kind of get it really good right after that. Because like, say right now, for this land, I haven't truly gotten the chance to revamp it, but just naturally, I've been able to get up to 17% time reduction because of my roads. But on my best plots, my new plots that are maxed out on buildings, I've gotten this done or up to 18. Celaris, though, has it all the way up to 20. So they are absolutely crushing it. Like, I feel like I'm crammed already as is. Your land looks like a Dr. Seuss landscape. I mean, hey, if it's providing you support, then it is what it is. We'll take it. More Hyperion needs to be converted. Almost just over halfway done getting the Hyperion for the first scanner. Get these to have them count towards the leaderboard. And then our tier 5 scanner is not going to provide anything here today. But at least it's something. It's still one roll of the dice. Now, this was the other tier 2 land that I did end up picking up. This one, though, was a complete start from scratch. There was nothing built on it. In about 3 days, I've gotten this up to Nexus level 6. Next one is going to be, of course, level 7. Currently in progress of trying to get enough Hyperion for it. I keep converting these other resources. I should be there in no time. In fact, I believe as long as I'm on top of things here today, I should be able to get that kick started by the end of the day. I don't need the hydrogen right now, so we'll just leave those as is. And that's not a full-grown plant. Is this a full-grown plant? Yeah, we'll kill that one. There we go. And then this is the plot again that I recently destroyed. I used to have a bunch of these converters sitting next to each other, and it was not worth the upgrade. But now it's in a much, much better state. Granted, all of these scanners are only level 3. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do with that. But in the meantime, that's not my main priority. I'm just trying to level up all of my converters, so I'm getting the most passive generation I can in every week. Why was all of that taken from silicon? That's unfortunate. I need to redo that. But then otherwise, in terms of the next upgrades, again, once training gyms are added, I'll probably kill off a couple of my extractors. Or I might just straight up kill off my scanners and turn this into just strictly a training gym kind of plot. I do have my little science facilities down here if I wanted to continue to do scanning route, but I'm still not quite sure as to what I want to do. zero is a huge aspect of your plan. Yeah, absolutely. It gets slept on a lot because there's not a lot of people that enjoy the maintenance and the building and this kind of style of game. Personally, this is nice to slow down and relax with, though. Yeah, this is my most fleshed out plot here. This is my only tier 3. And do it set up like that. There's a nice section up here in the northern squad for, again, whenever training gyms come around. Set it up beautifully. Depending on how big they are, maybe I can sneak a couple down in the corners. But otherwise, all good. I just leveled up all of these resources. This thing is going to be crushing it, nearly like maximizing in terms of production. Every single one of my converters are in progress with maximum fuel output for this plot. Every single one of these pumps are all maximized level 9. So in terms of production, in terms of leaderboard pushing, this is definitely my best plot. And yes, I know, Silent, your buildings aren't powered. If I were to actually be converting them, they would be right. But the amount of power needed to actually passively generate the fuel is much different compared to actually trying to convert the fuel. So that's why, even though it still says that it's like offline and it's not powered, it is actually still collecting passive fuel. Just something to keep in mind. That was the other thing I wanted to do. I wanted to start upgrading maybe some of my storage spaces. I don't want to add more storage, but I would like to be able to max out what I am currently using. Let's see, I need to burn off some of my carbon, so what's that? The hydrogen ones then? Yeah, there we go. And tier 3s just feel so good, man. Like, being able to just blow a couple hundred fuel of each type on a building and not fear that you're going to have to wait weeks to get that fuel back is just such a good feeling. This tier 3 plot's definitely where I'm having the most fun so far. Crimson Wastes. This one's basically situated as well. Just recently got this up to Nexus level 9. Now we're just in progress of getting all of our converters leveled up. A couple of them are at level 4. I'm trying to get them all to level 4. But of course, being tier 1, getting your fuel takes a little bit of time. I'll have to check back with that in a half hour. And as we can see, still plenty of space for when it's time to make gyms. Now, last but not least, the lands that trolled me. So, of course, this land here, this is the one that I made specifically for the brand new plot to blueprint speedrun challenge. I got it up to, which level here? Up to level 7 very, very quickly. Got the scanner. The scanner got me the Archie on the very, very first scan. Was on an absolute flying run, was doing great. Then I started actually looking for the blueprints. Regardless of having max efficiency, it took a month to actually find the blueprint. And when it did, they both found the blueprint on the same day. I went for a month to having none to getting 2 on the same day. So I have been trolled here by Illuvium. But what this does mean is I can actually finish the from new plot to blueprint video challenge that I had cooking for myself. So I'll have to finalize that, and you'll expect to probably see that within the near future. I must be going overtime because once again my blueprints, or not my blueprints, my playlist swapped on me again, so should be wrapping things up. I actually went heavy into overtime here today, 12:40. So what's the next thing that I'll end up doing here? I can either get this quantum fabricant up to the next level, but I do need to get this extractor up there first. I think it takes 12 of the Krypton, so let's keep converting that. And close up shop here for today now that everything is settled and underway. But it's been a very, very fun, exciting stream. What a way to try our first speed run at finding Holos and finding those shinies. Managing to find 12 of them in 1 hour. That was quite the experience, quite the fun time, if I do say so myself. Adding a bunch of them to the collection is always very, very nice. Hopping into the arena, we had 2 podium finishes. I believe it was 1/3. And then finding the first in the last one was quite nice. Then, of course, Illuvium 0, rather quiet, but we are making some very, very good progress there, so I cannot complain. And last but not least, in terms of what are we doing for the rest of the week. So again, schedule is out on all of my platforms, but just guys, since you're already here, we'll talk about it right here, right now. So going into Wednesday, of course, with the Illuvium Town Hall being Thursday, I'm going to go over my wish list of sorts to see what exactly I would want to kind of be addressed and talked about. I'm sure some of my thoughts are already on Discord, but I have a couple more to kind of go over before we get into the swing of things. Then on Friday, we will be back here once again, going over the town hall, see what kind of things were talked about. Was anything announced? Is there something at the end of the town hall here extremely exciting to look at or get excited for? Or are we in for a little bit of a cold holiday season, not quite knowing what is coming up next? We'll have to see. And of course, alongside all those streams, of course, we're going to do an Overworld run. We'll sneak in some ranked arena in there as well. And of course, have our Illuvium 0 cooldown. Big thank you to everybody who tuned in. Hope you had a fantastic time. If you want to come back and join me and get notified about it, please, whether it be subscribing on YouTube or dropping the follow on X or on Twitch, be sure to hit the button so that we can hang out again another time in the very, very near future. But until then, I'm definitely over time. I'm overdue. I got to get back and help out the kids. So I will see you all on Wednesday.